Well, this Pride Month, Denver7 set out to share the voices of people within the LGBTQ+ community.
In last week's story, we learned there's a lot of fear about the community's future. Denver7's Colette Bordelon is following up tonight.
And she reports on the protections Colorado already has in place for that community and how they would hold up to any change in federal law.
Let me find the link. Here it is.
Yeah, Micah, Jessica, the story might look a little bit different than what you're used to. It's part of our Denver7 Your Voice series.
This is a piece about Pride Month.
Oh, another good thing I forgot to add in, I'm officially full-time drag now. I quit my job.
Where we heard what's been good and bad in the last year.
A lot of unknown, but yeah, we can do it together.
That was a very smart, perceptive statement.
And the audience also heard concerns from the community about the future.
Well, I don't know, just that fear of having to go backwards and rights being taken away, because I never believed that I would be able to get legally married.
Glenda Russell is one of the people who watched the story.
When I heard this woman at the Rockies game talk about all the things that she couldn't imagine doing, that becomes a very tiny world.
She's a psychologist who calls herself a community historian, too.
One time my late wife said to me, "Are you a community historian or are you a hoarder?" And if she were still alive, she would say, "I knew it. You're really a hoarder."
You're working on something.
I'm working on a lot of things. I like to say that I am flunking my retirement.
One of those projects is a blog that's based on research she started in the early 90s.
That research was talking with and doing surveys of gay, lesbian, and bisexual people in the state of Colorado who had gone through the experience of Amendment 2, which was an anti-gay referendum that was on the ballot.
Amendment 2 was on the statewide ballot in 1992 and was approved by 53% of Colorado voters, banning anti-discrimination protections for members of the LGBTQ community.
We were called the hate state.
In 1996, the U.S. Supreme Court struck down Amendment 2, declaring it unconstitutional.
I mean, that was really one of the most thrilling days I've ever had. During the, say, 5 to 10 years after Amendment 2, there was more progress on queer rights made in the state of Colorado than there had ever been before or since.
Some of that history is preserved at the Denver Public Library.
All right, so I'm going to tell you about some of the stuff we got in here.
Sarah Marino is a research services manager here.
It is a banner from one of the GLAAD organizations.
She also pulled some old articles about Amendment 2.
This is very interesting. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. One step forward, one step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So Amendment 2 was sort of conceived of in response to an expansion of protection for LGBTQ plus folks. It was just completely devastating, but people didn't give up and they kept fighting and they were able to achieve something really important.
It's part of LGBTQ history in Colorado, a history Marino calls complicated.
Colorado has sort of become, it's gone from being deemed the hate state to being a safe state, so that's awesome.
Of all the states, Colorado is one that is going to defend those rights as long as possible.
Jax Gonzalez, the political director of One Colorado, walked us through some of that history.
In Colorado, we have some pretty cutting edge and important laws that are protecting our rights here.
For instance, the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act was amended in 2007, banning discrimination based on gender identity in employment, including transgender status as a protected class. Those protections were extended the next year to other areas covered by the act, like housing.
CADA protects gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation. Those are all specifically defined. They're not kind of under any blanket term. We've sort of grown with how we've grown those terms over time.
Erica Unger, an attorney with a Social Justice Legal Center, reminded us that it was 2006 when Colorado voters added a ban on same-sex marriage into the state constitution. Only 10 years ago, in 2015, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled all states must grant same-sex marriages, basically overriding that bit of Colorado's constitution. Then, at the end of last year, Colorado voters decided to take that clause from 2006 out of the state's constitution.
We've often forgotten how we've gotten the protections we have.
Pointing to the past when there's fear for the future.
We can have fear and we can still be brave.
Do you believe that Colorado's laws could stand up to any federal efforts that might work to change them? Anybody who tells you exactly what will happen doesn't actually know. What we do know is that we have protections in Colorado that are intended to stand up against changes at the federal level.
These laws are strong, and we will fight to keep them as they are.
What would you say to someone who's feeling scared right now?
Unless you have a crystal ball, you have uncertainty in your life every day. And most of us manage to deal with that all the time. So you have better skills at that than you think you do.
With Russell saying this community is no stranger to such skills.
When the chips are down, we can often find it in ourselves to dig deeper and to be more creative and to be more caring. And I think that's what we should all be aspiring to right now. And we win when we do that.
Colette Bordelon, Denver7.
Progress is not a straight line. If you're a member of the LGBTQ+ community and want to share your voice with Colette, scan the QR code on your screen to connect with her. Or you can send her an email directly at colette.bordelon@denver7.com. Denver7 is committed to sharing voices that aren't always given a chance to be heard. Let us know what we're missing.
And we're just a week and a half away from Denver Pride, and Denver7 is a proud sponsor. The parade, the 5K, and the festival, all put on by the Center on Colfax. In partnership with the Center, we will present a 30-minute special at 6:30 p.m. on June 27th. We'll highlight the work they're doing to create a safe and welcoming space for our LGBTQ+ community and show you what to expect at Denver Pride this year.